Hello and welcome to Guardian Talks on Guardian TV. My name is Fatima Rachel. Today, let's talk about the ongoing strike action by the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, which began on the 1st of November 2025. According to the association, it has listed the 19 key demands ranging from unpaid arrears to better working conditions. I am being joined via Zoom by the president of NARD, Dr. Muhammed Suleiman, who would be shedding more light on the scenario and if Nigerians should expect an end to the strike anytime soon. It's nice to have you grace our studio this morning. So let's get right into the conversation. Let's get right into the conversation. So for clarity purposes, can you briefly tell us what has led to this most recent strike by resident doctors?
Thank you very much for this question. 12 years ago, we had about 25,000 resident doctors in this country, about 16,000 at the federal level, 6,000 to 8,000 at the state level, and then the rest are spread across different private tertiary health institutions that offer residency training. Today, we have just about 9,000 at the federal level, just about 1,500 at the state level, and then we have less than 400 at the private hospitals levels in Nigeria. These are the total extent. So we're talking about just about 11,500 resident doctors. Now, this figure dropped over the last 10, 12 years. There are reasons for it. One is the remuneration, and let me take a few things under that remuneration. For instance, in 2009, 2014, there's a collective bargaining agreement with the federal government that said whenever you review minimum wage that affects basic salary, it should affect allowances. From 2019 to the last minimum wage adjusted, the basic salaries were adjusted with just about 40,000, but that adjustment did not reflect the allowances, which means every doctor for the last 7-8 years in Nigeria is collecting just about 45% of his allowances and just about 60% of their actual salaries. Now, we approached the federal government, wrote letters. This is something that has been ongoing for years. Finally, this year, there was a sit-down between the Ministry of Health, the associations, and the Salaries and Wages Commission. These adjustments were done, and there was an error in it. That error led to the withdrawal of that first circular. Now, all the corrections have been done. The tables are ready. Release these tables so that at least this injustice will be corrected. No, it has still not been released. Even in these ongoing negotiations, there are still drama as to when it will be released. It has been agreed, though, that we will release this table, but there are dramas to it. In 2023, there was a review of the salary by about 25-35%, which other people know as peculiar allowance. Now, there were 7 months arrears in that 2023 that was not paid. This is one of the reasons why we have been agitating. From 2021, in fact, some hospitals 2019, some hospitals 2018, every time medical officers who are members of NARD are promoted, promotion arrears are not being paid. We have pockets of centers like FMC Owo. We have OATH, THC Ile-Ife. We have Federal University of Health Science Otukpo. We have UUTH Uyo, where salary arrears are being owed. This one is not an allowance, it's a salary. People have worked. It's being owed to members from 3 months all the way up to 20 months. These issues have been ongoing for 2, 3, in fact, some since 2022. And we've been calling the attention of government to that. On the commerce circular, this is a different point. On the commerce circular, there's what is known as specialist allowance. Now, the senior registrar is a specialist by certification. Now, ideally, senior registrar 1, who is on commerce 5, that part of the commerce table has that specialist allowance, but senior registrars don't get to do it, despite being specialists, despite offering and providing specialist care across different hospitals in Nigeria. So these are just a few remuneration issues that have fueled, for instance, Benue State University General Hospital, Benue State government. The salary arrears worth about 18 months. For instance, in Kogi, doctors have not been promoted for well over 10 years. Promotion. The salary scale being used in that state is that of 2014. And this is widespread across different states. Now, that is just salary issue. When you look at the work rate, WHO said there should be 1 doctor to every 600 of our citizens. Nigeria's population today is probably closer to 260, 280 million, according to public health models. Now, how many resident doctors do we have? Just about 11,000. How many consultants do we have? Just about 6,000. If you join that and you extrapolate for the population, you're talking about 1 doctor to about 10,000, 11,000, 12,000. Some models even say 13,000 Nigerians. What does that translate in physical work? It means that 10 years ago, 10 years ago, if 6 doctors are managing 1,000 patients per month, today it is 2 doctors managing 4,000 patients per that month, which means because of the less number, doctors are taking calls like Victor Audu and Dr. Yomi, I keep talking about in FTH local the orthopedics department. They are on call every day, 122 days, 131 days. Your Victor Audu is only on call for 22 days because he resigned on day 23. That's why the roster is reflecting that he's there for 22 days. My own treasurer is the only senior registrar in our hospital in plastic surgery unit. He has been on call, only him, since February. So this is not tenable. As a surgeon in training, you probably will give out 120, 130 hours per week. I am a physician in training, a pulmonologist in training, an SR1 in pulmonology. Averagely in a week, someone like me will give out 102, 105, 106 hours per that week for pay that has grossly been hit, not just by failed promises from government, but by even economic realities. When I was a house officer, my salary is less than 200,000. And in dollar terms is over $1,000. Today, in dollar terms, I'm just going home with about $300. So there are stark realities that push doctors out of the country. And government has promised over time and time and time. There's the issue of the membership certificate. Someone just woke up and decided, let us strip their membership certificate of its specialist status. There's the Lokoja 5. 5 union leaders fighting for union activities were unjustly terminated simply because of differences in how that aluta for those welfare packages in that center is being done. Mind you, that center has 89 consultants, but only 32 resident doctors. 32 resident doctors in a federal tertiary hospital in Nigeria. So I can go on and on. The house officers have myriads of issues. I can go on and on about casualization. You are given an appointment.
Dr. Suleiman, I'll have to cut into your conversation at this point. Out of all those demands you've made mention of, which of these would you describe as non-negotiable? The association listed a 19 key demand. Which would you consider non-negotiable?
These 19 demands are all the way leading up to about 10 years. Some are, the youngest on these demands is about a year. The youngest, which is the upgrade issue, which is the downgrading of the entry level of doctors from COMES 3 to COMES 2. It's a year now, a year old. The National Executive Council said all the 19 items are minimum demands. Let me give you a hint into the conversations with the federal government. None of these items on the demand has been described as not genuine, not valid, not needing attention, not needing solution in the immediate term. Even government agents agree that all these 19 must be sorted out.
All right. So from your own standpoint, which is non-negotiable? Because, you've laid more emphasis on remuneration. So would you consider remuneration as more important than better working condition?
In addition to remuneration, all the remuneration issues, reinstating the Lokoja 5 is non-negotiable. The specialist status of the membership certificate is non-negotiable. The work schedule limiting call hours to only 24 hours, after which the officer must go and rest, is non-negotiable. The issue of the packages of the house officers, the protections from the civil service are non-negotiable. The issue of the casualization, where you give a doctor an appointment letter that says you work only in this hospital, you are on duty 24 hours, you can't join any association, we can terminate the appointment at any, all those obnoxious, illegal casualization, these are non-negotiable things. I don't know how to put it. When you put the remuneration and you think it carries weight over the non-remuneration issues, you will fix the remuneration. And the non-remuneration issues are practical realities. Let me give you an instance. There's a power problem with hospitals in Nigeria. Sometimes you go to theater. I am a senior registrar in pulmonology. We do bronchoscopy. You do it, light goes off. You now start looking for your phone to flash light when instruments are within the body canal of a human being. Would you say remuneration issues outweigh these kind of problems? No.
All right. Well said, Doctor. In recent years, we've seen a growing number of kidnap cases, from Dr. Khadijat, who spent about 10 months in captivity, and to other doctors. So what is NARD, the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, doing to ensure that the welfare and the security of their doctors is placed in priority?
As an association, we have engaged government agents, we have engaged security agents on this matter. What we are doing as an association, and government knows this, the moment one of our members is kidnapped, and not even at the level of kidnapping, the moment a patient relation or a police officer or any officer of any aspect of government comes into the hospital to bully or even assault doctors, that center immediately shuts down. I am sorry to be very blunt about it. For instance, I was in the A&E one day, and a vigilante group recognized by one of the state governments came in with accident victims, and there was no light. The next thing they did, they brought out weapons and they were shooting into the air. I instructed every doctor and every nurse in that emergency unit, flee for your life. And the next day, there was a Congress meeting to shut down the hospital. You know, those are the messages that you can't, in the process of saving lives, lose your own life. When Ganiat was kidnapped, and we appreciate the security agents, we appreciate the Nigerian government for working tirelessly to free her. You know, it's not lost on us. We ran from pillar to post, and eventually we had to go on a strike. Now, it was after that that the association decided, you kidnap a doctor, we will shut down that hospital. Perhaps it's the only cry that we have in a Nigerian setting of today that probably treats the doctor as an appendage, as a, how will I put it, as a part of a body that if you fall off and die, you're just replaced and you become a statistic, and then the world moves on without you.
Thank you, Doctor. Well said. So, finally, we have a lot of critics saying that resident doctors go on strike too much. So, if there's one word you want to say to those critics, what would that word be?
Okay, let's look at the history of that statement. The last time NARD was on a prolonged strike was in 2020, 2021. That lasted 2 months. After that, in June or July 2023, NARD was on a 5-day or 7-day or 11-day strike. From that time, this is the first time we're on strike, an indefinite strike like this. So I don't know where the critics are getting their facts, you know. So I've given you a countdown of the last 5 years, and I don't know, is it incessant? Now, mind you, I have 2 predecessors, because our tenure is just 1 year, who have used their entire tenures to engage in diplomacy on all these 19 items. And in the diplomacy, there were promises upon promises upon promises to solve these issues. Yet, I took over a little over 6 weeks ago, and the AGM said, still run a 30-day marathon of running from pillar to post to talk to government. Even at the point that government did not respond at the end of the 30 days, the next still said extend by another 1 week, and the 1 week passed, and then we're here. So to those critics, I would hope they would understand that doctors too are dying. They would understand that doctors take long, prolonged call duties, driving on their way home, they have accidents and die. I would expect those critics who realize that doctors, after this exhausting work, collapsed. Look at Dr. Rotify from River State University Hospital. Took a 3-day call. He was very exhausted. He told his friends, he felt his body was off. I need to go and lie down and rest. He went to his call room, lied down, and Rotify died. He never woke up till date. His parents lost their breadwinner. I know of a house officer who just started his first posting and did a call, I think, of about 4 days. The next thing, he collapsed. He fell unconscious. They did a CT scan. He bled in his brain. He was in the ICU for a few days and he died. I can tell you, doctors who finished call, I can call their names, but I don't want their families to revisit the pain. Did call, were driving back home, had accidents and died. You know, baby. And what is the cause? They were sleeping on the wheel.
That's quite unfortunate. That's really quite unfortunate. But then the government said they're already engaging with in talks with the NARD. I mean, from your own standpoint, from your own view, well, what would the response of the Federal Ministry of Health be? I mean, what are they doing regarding this ongoing strike?
Thank you for this question. You know, we're having a discussion with you now, and you've agreed with me that these things are germane. This is akin to the discussions we have with government. We have agreed that all the issues are germane. Okay, let's solve them. We're now putting timelines. Those timelines are being shifted. Goal lines are being shifted. Today, you will agree that this timeline is Monday. Tomorrow you come, they will tell you, no, we didn't agree it's Monday. Oh, we were not part of the agreement that it is Monday. So that is the back and forth happening. That is bickering. And it doesn't say well at this level of discourse. We should be able to agree on concrete timelines. Now, what circulars can solve, release those circulars. What memoranda can solve, let's agree. What actions, immediate actions can solve, let's do it. At this juncture, I have to appreciate the Honorable Minister of Finance, the Honorable Minister of State for Finance, for clearing the issues on their table or doing their best to clear it. And I must say the 25-35%, about 60% of our members have gotten it. The accoutrement allowance is still dropping. It started dropping yesterday. We would hope that everyone will end up getting, and there won't be hitches like the 25-35% that was released earlier. But this is 2 out of 19. Of those other 17, what is on the table, concrete, has been finalized, has been implemented right now. Right now, nothing. Right now, as I'm talking to you, we have agreed, let's do this. We have put timeline. Those timelines, some of them have approved, some of them have passed. Things were agreed to be done yesterday. They've not been done as at this morning. Things have been agreed to be done this morning. It is already afternoon. There are things agreed to be done tomorrow and Friday. We are waiting to see. So these are promises that have been happening. So if I come out to the media and talk like, it will be like, probably I don't believe those officers there, like the Honorable Minister for Labor and Employment. I mean, he's a very honorable man, very passionate about solving this problem. You know, a father of doctors himself, he understands our plights, you know, and he's working around the clock to see that these things are implemented. But bureaucrats will just make it seem as if doctors are being unreasonable. When Nigeria is producing doctors and bleeding them to other countries.
All right. Well said, Dr. Suleiman Muhammad. Thank you very much for this insightful conversation, for joining us, in tackling this issue on ground. And we hope to have more of you in the studio. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. Good afternoon.
As discussions continue between NARD and the federal government, Nigerians are hopeful that both parties would find a common ground and restore normalcy to the hospital system in the country. I am Fatima Rachel. Thanks for joining us.